sports and basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
NBA, some college, a little bit of everything.
You know, what can I say? But it wasn't going to happen here with him.
Hi, everybody. It's time for the Bob Ryan, Gary Tanguay pod here on CLNS Media, the CLNS Media Network. Show is brought to you by PrizePicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today and use code CLNS to get $50 when you play 5. PrizePicks. Run your game. Okay, Bob, here we go. The Doncic fitness fever is gripping the country. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm picking up on today's piece in The Athletic and the New York Times, and the work that he's put in is very, very, very impressive. And I guess the results are startling. I haven't personally. Have you seen any actual video?
I have not.
Me neither. I've just seen, maybe a photo. But the first question that I think we're fair to ask is that does this vindicate Nico Harrison's farewell address about why, not only reason why, but that a partial situation with Doncic as far as the Mavericks were concerned was his conditioning. It was an ongoing issue.
Right.
Okay. And people, knew that he worked around it, frankly, According to the story, it is not a direct response necessarily. This was something he's kind of knew he need to do. But, Mike, it's going to be interesting to see and what effect it has. And my first question is this going to have any effect on his notoriously indifferent defense? Is he going to want to move around better on defense? Is that the point that he's thinking about too? I don't know. Well, we're going to see, because that's been the plus minus with him. Is as great as the offense is. He's been a liability on defense, and so we'll see how that goes. Now that'll be interesting to see. But it's going to be really interesting. He's 26 years old. He's accomplished a lot, and he did it despite not being in tip-top shape. It's funny about that. I go back with Larry. Larry was never ripped, in the beginning at all. He was not ripped at all. And then after the 85-86 season, 86-87 season, he went home and he got in the best shape of his life. And of course, as it turned out, his motivation was thwarted. His motivation, he told me at the time, was he wanted to prolong his career. Well, guess what? He was hurt back. He hurt the heels, which had nothing to do with conditioning, and missed the whole year almost. And the back was recurrent, and there's nothing you could do. No conditioning is going to save you from a congenital back issue that I know about. Sure, there are back exercises I know, but this was a congenital thing. I don't think so. It didn't have any, But I do remember, Gar, that exhibition season after Larry came home in summer '87, looking great, and we were in Utah at an exhibition game at BYU, and Larry went up for an offensive rebound, and he stuffed an offensive two-hand stuff of an offensive rebound from an altitude with an altitude we had never seen before, Larry, and we went, this is going to be. I'll never forget that dunk, that put-back stuff that he did with the new body,
Right.
But anyway. Now, but with Doncic, and this is very interesting, and it's going to be. I'm very curious to see what effect. If I don't know how to see it's going to improve his offense. Maybe it does. I don't know. But this is a serious commitment, and so good for him. I applaud it.
But why now? Why didn't he do it in Dallas?
Yeah, I know, and I'm just let's see if I can quote quickly from the piece. He said he had, I don't know, whether Doncic would have been the same quality of fitness model had he not been traded is sort of irrelevant. Same if you think the driving reason for this change is to stick it to the Mavericks for trading him and justifying it by highlighting his weaknesses. It came at the moment when he had the most financial motivation. Depending on how he structures this extension, it could be the precursor to the richest deal in NBA history in 2028, when he could hit free agency after 10 years of league service. All right, so we'll see. That's a theory, just a theory.
Well, I mean, look, always follow the money, and I don't begrudge a player for doing that. I mean,
No.
we know we've seen contract years, Bob. Guys, they're back in the day of the long ball. There were certain ball players that had career years with home runs in that contract year. I can think of one, but I'm not gonna
Well,
go there with the name. I can think of one where, boom, career year gets a nice $40 million contract, then boop, nothing after that but injuries.
yeah.
So you know what career years mean? I mean, I believe it's financially motivated. I also think that when you play with LeBron James, and we've discussed this earlier,
Yeah.
when you play with one of the great players, now Michael was that way, Larry was dogged in the gym, Magic. These guys just didn't show up. I mean, they worked out hard. And I think that, as you mentioned in the prior podcast, LeBron spends $1 million a year on conditioning.
Yeah.
And I think that the guy sees this and he goes, look, he's playing to 40, and it's twofold. A, he's playing to 40, and B, he's getting paid until he's 40.
Yeah.
So really, I think that's it. I don't think there was a role model for him in Dallas. Now, the whole speculation is that now the Lakers are his team, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. I don't care
I
about
know. Well, that stuff, you know how I
that
feel
stuff. We
about
don't care
that.
about it. But there was no role model for him in Dallas.
No, that's for
He's
sure.
got a role model for in LA.
Well, yeah, you're right. And it's extraordinary what LeBron has been able to do at the age. And a reason is the fitness, extraordinary good shape in which
Yeah,
he's keeping his
Google.
body.
You know
Yeah.
how much? Do you know how much LeBron has made in his career?
No, I didn't look at, no. Do
No,
you
I'm
have
going
it?
to look it up right now because I know that was um, Garnett was the guy at one point who he made, I don't know, whatever the number was. It's
Yeah.
dwarfed now by just the deal that Tatum and Brown got. You know. So how much has LeBron made in his career? I'm sorry, this may not be good, but LeBron, how much do you think he's made in his career, Bob? Give me a guess.
20 years. I'm not very good at doing arithmetic in my head at the moment. Over a billion, I don't know.
Well, no, you're not far. Okay. $583 million from his NBA contracts. Half a billion.
Yeah.
900 million from his endorsements.
Yes.
He's worth 1.5 billion. That's enough to get my ass in the gym.
Yeah, no, it's extraordinary. What can I say? And I just think of Michael, of course, is reputed to be a billionaire as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he owned half
But
a night.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, there we go.
but
There we go. Money.
that's it. But that's, you look at a guy like LeBron and you go, at the age of 40, he's worth $1.5 billion. And guys see that and you go, all right, well, I'm 26. I could play another 14 years and I'll be worth more than that. I don't know.
No,
That's my theory.
no. Well, I don't. There's not going to be too many more LeBrons, but there's going to be guys. We have another 40-year-old this year, of course, of some note, and that's Chris Paul. So there's two of them at 40 that are functioning at
Right.
quite a good level. So, but we'll see a few more, I'm sure. But ultimately, the money just going to 35 is going to make you very wealthy for life. That's for sure. So, yeah, in this world of.
But here's a question I have, and it's probably too hard for either of us to answer because we don't know the guy. For Doncic, like he was the number one in Dallas. Being the number one in LA is different.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're the number one, if you're a Cowboy number one, that's a big deal. I mean, that's clearly a very big deal. And the equivalent of being anything number one in LA, I think. But if you're a Cowboy, but he wasn't a Cowboy, he was a Maverick. Yeah, and he no, you're right. It wasn't anything like what he's going to be. The
Right.
scrutiny and the whole sideshows that's going to be him playing in LA for sure. They're going to be a team. We're going to be talking about them. We're going to be curious, and for sure. And they've tried to add some shooting, maybe they'll be involved in the West. I don't think. Look, they're not winning another championship, and that I can
Right.
see. But they're certainly going to be a team of interest as long as those two guys are around. Of course they are, And so we'll be paying attention to the Lakers.
We'll get back to Bob in just a minute. First, I got to tell you that PrizePicks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long with PrizePicks. PrizePicks always putting their members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Baseball season, the second half, everything's heating up, battling for the wild card spots. So check it out on PrizePicks. Every Tuesday, PrizePicks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15% to 25%. And oh yeah, by the way, of course, training camps are underway here for football. So before you know it, we'll be hearing the pads hitting hard. And of course, you can always bet on the NFL on PrizePicks. Okay, so PrizePicks, real simple. That's how you do it. All right, sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So, as I mentioned, second half of baseball season is rolling. Ohtani, is he going to have more or less than 3 RBIs in the game? Bo Bichette, more or less than 3 hits. O'Neal Cruz, more or less than 3 stolen bases. So check it out. Run your game on PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. For those of you listening to this show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast, like and leave a review. And for those watching the show on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you can find our show and a lot of other great Celtics content. Also, please make sure to turn on your notifications so you know the instant a new video drops. Back to Bob. Always this time of year, we start looking ahead to the NBA season. They're going to be playing some games in Europe.
Well, the NBA globalization continues. Adam Silver is very, very interested in it. Of course, his predecessor was. This all got started in the Stern era. But but we've had exhibitions and we've had tournaments, and now we're actually going to have what football has had and hockey has had, and now we're going to have it in baseball. And in baseball, we've had it. Of course, the Red Sox and Yankees play in England. We know that. We're going to have regular season games between Memphis and Orlando. In Berlin, it's a weekend series, or it's a 2-game series.
Regular season. Did I might have said preseason. I missed.
No, it's regular. This is going to in Berlin and London, and so that's a new milestone for the NBA.
Berlin, I expect Berlin to be jammed. I don't know, Germany. I mean, Dirk came out of Germany. I mean, you've seen, so I expect Germany to sell out and be crazy. What about London?
Well, there is basketball in England, believe it or not, and there's a league, and we're going to see. I would think that they will be able to fill the hall. I would think. But I remember at my last Olympics in 2012, which were in London, and a big deal when they actually won a game, because as a host team they were in, and they actually won a game, and it was a huge, we made a big deal out of it, naturally. But they're not noted. They're not an incubator of talent yet in England. No, it's not. It's not the sport of choice. But you raise a good point. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that this novelty and they'll promote it well, and they'll
So I wonder. I got to ask you something. Has there ever been a player from England in the NBA?
Luol Deng grew up in London, and Luol Deng was a.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he.
John Amici. Who I spent some time, over meals in Olympics with at times as he was doing commentary, and John Amici is a Brit, but that's pretty much the.
Tell us what was that like? I mean, we know John's history, and he was a pioneer. What was he like? What was that like?
Pleasant, smart fellow, just an engaging, charming guy. We had good basketball talk, and so I enjoyed his company. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting if we'll ever have a British NBA star. What'd you think of the food in London?
Well, my first, I go back to 1991, my first visit in London, and the thing about London, and people talk about the food and all. My wife and I, Elaine and I, are always fine for one simple reason: we like Indian food, and if you like Indian food, you can subsist on Indian food alone and nothing else in all the British Isles now, including Ireland. But Scotland, anybody who goes to Scotland knows that every village has an Indian restaurant, and every village in England pretty much has an Indian restaurant. So I have no trouble, and you can get a steak. I mean, I don't look for fancy schmancy food, but England, I'm very fine with Indian food.
What about the fish and chips?
Oh yeah, and of course, yes, yeah, fish and chips, exactly. Oh, I've never starved in London. Don't worry, or England, anywhere.
Well, Bob, I wouldn't think that you would. Now, here's the next question I have.
I'm not a foodie, though. I'm not a foodie. So
no, I know. I got it.
Yeah, that's
no,
okay.
No. Here's your pick: Irish pub or an English pub?
Oh. Well, I'm going to go provincial on you. And
Got to go Irish.
I got to go Irish, especially if you got a good Irish music going. I mean, I had one night in Dublin, in my first night in Dublin, when I was just at random hoping to find an Irish pub with some good music and just absorb it all. And I hit the jackpot. I found a place that it just did the job. Nothing against. I love, but I do like British pubs. But the Irish, when they can throw in that music with you, then you got something really good going.
Little corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, I like corned beef and cabbage.
I love corned beef and cabbage, man. I love it. All right. So, all right, Bob, that's getting a little off topic. So now the NBA.com does some good stuff in the NBA offseason, because especially after free agency, you have to come up with some topics.
Yeah.
They have the 5 most under the radar moves in the 2025 season. Jones to the Magic, Laviera to the Lakers, Huff to the Pacers, Cornette to the Spurs. I mean, come on. Lonzo Ball to the Cavaliers. I want to talk about that. That's one to watch.
Well, this whole Lonzo Ball career has been sidetracked, with injury and so forth. And yeah, if he gets healthy, he's done good stuff. He's still young. My God, how old is he? 21, 25 maybe? I don't know. I have to look him up. But Lonzo Ball can play basketball, and that's an interesting addition to them, assuming that he can show up for you, and that's good. So yeah, that is an interesting one. Tyus Jones. I know our friend Mr. Goodman was pretty big on Tyus Jones. Thought this was a good move, and Orlando needed a point guard. I'm bullish on Orlando because of Paolo, Banchero, and
Right.
Franz Wagner. Definitely, I'm bullish on them, and I think this is a good addition. I have zero opinion about Jake LaRavia to the Lakers. I have no opinion, folks. And Jay Huff, they needed to replace a body, and I don't think they've come close to replacing Miles Turner with Jay Huff. But maybe this is going to be an opportunity for him to show what he can do. And as far as our friend Luke Cornette's concerned, interesting, the Spurs, because Wembanyama can play out, and they might be able to figure out a way to be a very interesting duo. He's adaptable, I think, Cornette, and as well. I'm going to miss him. I thought he was as you know, I was all over him last year. I'm going to miss him, and I think the Spurs. I'll go with this. I think it's a very savvy acquisition. If he's going to play for them the way he played for the Celtics this year, that's going to help that team.
And I'm sure he's got good value.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we know he's getting amply and appropriately compensated. We'll put it that way.
Also, again, NBA.com doing a great job. They top 10 players in the East, and it's just so weird seeing this without Mr. Tatum.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, obviously, he would have been there. They've got the freak. Giannis is number 1. No surprise there. Then it goes Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Embiid, Mobley, Brown, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. Cade Cunningham, I think, is an unbelievable. That's a great story, huh?
Oh, and once again, our colleague, Mr. Goodman, is a very, 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 very high on Kate Cunningham. Yeah. I'm, and we're both I'm very high on Paolo. Got Paolo at 4. I put him ahead of Mitchell just because I like him. I got nothing against Mitchell. So, and the Jalen Brunson story, it's hard to, it's in New York, and some people say, well, is he's getting overplayed because he's in New York and all that. And it still remains a fascinating thing, the career he's had. This year, when he had a 55-point game this year, at which point I contacted Jay Wright, and I said, when you were recruiting this 6-foot guard, did you ever dream of him scoring 55 points in an NBA game? And of course, he said no, but he did think he had gotten a really fine quality player. But this whole thing from depth, I'm repeating something I've said here many times. When the deal was made, when he was went to New York, I said, I had my eye on him, back to Villanova. I would love to have gotten him for quote unquote us, right? And I said, but they're paying him like he's a star, and he's a fine auxiliary player. That was my opinion. Oh boy, good thing I wasn't a GM. I mean, he's far transcended that analysis. That's for sure. So his rise into a major stardom, I think, is one of the most intriguing, unforeseen stories of the last decade in the NBA. Really, from a guy trying to drafting guys and guys who they turn into. This is one of the overachieving things in my head that we know. Number 2, yeah, all right. I think Cunningham's going to make a move on everybody. Embiid is in the middle of so I guess a little on the other side of the second half of his career already. Mobley, this is I'm glad Jalen's on the list. And Karl Anthony Towns, he showed us more than he ever did in Minnesota last year. And then Trae Young is always going to be sort of not a polarizer, but a controversial guy because there's good and bad. He can rack up assists, he can do this, but there seems to be something in terms of his relationships that on the team with the management or with the coach. He seems to be a red flag kind of guy, but he is very talented. So my biggest thing on this list is I would move up Paolo the head of Mitchell, and really I'm not sure Mobley belongs yet, but then I'm trying to think of who I'd put in there. So I'd have to do some thought. There you go.
As I take a look at Cleveland, not Cleveland, he coached in Cleveland, but with the Knicks. We love Tibbs. We realize that Tibbs was not treated fairly. However, I look at Mike Brown. He might be the right fit for them at this time. And I'm making the comparison of going from Fitch to Casey Jones with the Celtics. What do you think?
Very interesting. Yeah, that was a clear, hot, cold, hot, cool thing. And when that was Billy Martin to Bob Lemon. That was right. That's when this whole concept first appeared in our sports radar screen.
Yeah,
cool. That after that they had to get away from the hot, and they couldn't have gotten cooler than Bob Lemon and Tibbs. Now I don't know that Mike Brown is that cool, but he's certainly not Tibbs, and he's got a good track record. I mean, he's got a great background. He comes, with a lot of fans in the business, and I think it's a very interesting move. By the way, the Knicks made another significant deal yesterday. They signed Bridges to a long-term contract.
Oh, right. I forgot.
The guy for whom they gave up 5 number ones. They
4 years at $150 million.
They made a commitment to Bridges, and so good for him. And speaking of Villanova guys, and there you go. So I wonder if Villanova is profiting from these at the the alumni giving from any of these stars of theirs.
Well, I would think recruiting wise.
Yeah.
Say, look, guys, hey, we make NBA All-Stars.
That was Jay, and things haven't gone well the last couple since Jay left.
Yeah, that's true.
Jay, he looks even better in hindsight now for the Knicks. I mean, for Villanova.
Where do you put him? Where do you rank him amongst? How many titles did he win? 2?
He won two, and and
I mean, is he in the Patino? Well, there's Wooden, right? I mean, there's Wooden in
well,
it,
you've got Wooden, and you've got uh, uh, Dean Smith
right?
and Knight for sure out there, and Roy Williams, Larry Brown. There's others that and then there's some old timers, of course. But in the modern era of guys in the last 15 years, coaches, you can't tell me anybody's been any better. Can't tell me anybody's been any better than Jay Wright was, and what he did at Villanova. They had an identity that he gave them, and I don't think anybody was any better. And of course, I'm biased. I know him a little bit, and he's his level-headed man. That's why he got out of the business now, the way it's going. He doesn't need this crap, that it is now in the colleges. But I may be the wrong guy. Maybe I should recuse myself, but I'll stick up for him.
No, I think you're right. I just don't think that maybe because he is a very even-keeled type of guy, he's taken players that I don't think were considered. I mean, I don't think Villanova has had a great history going back with the Big East and Raleigh Massimino and so forth, but they've never been Kentucky or UCLA.
No. He made them. No, and he didn't win the one championship,
And he took over from Massimino.
He won, and Villanova basketball matters. It matters. It's mattered going back to Paul Harrison in the 40s. It matters when I was introduced to basketball and at big time in the 52-53 season. My father was assistant AD at Villanova, and I was taken to the Palestra, and that's got me hooked on college basketball, for the last 70 years. So it mattered, and it's always mattered, and that's why there's a little angst going on there now, because they've fallen off the perch right now, and the successor has not gotten the job done. Jay looks better in retrospect. But anyway, to answer your question, Jay was as good as any of these guys with the
right. There you go, Bob. Anything else on your mind?
No, I don't think so. Right now, just waiting to hear some good injury reports. Let's put it that way. That's uppermost in my mind, is getting a good injury report on a certain 6'10" multi-skilled player.
That's right. With the initials JT.
Yes.
Thank you for watching and listening to Bob, Ryan, Gary Tanguay here in the CLNS Media Network. Show brought to you by PrizePicks, North America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download today. Use code CLNS to get $50 when you play 5. PrizePicks. Run your game.